We are just days away from taking our first big, longer trip in our Alliance Delta, but that also means, in addition to all the small modifications and changes we made in the last video, I've got 3 pretty big ones that were on Lauren's and mine request list. So let's dive into it. Welcome back to Millers in Motion. If it's your first time here, my name is Ryan, along with my wife, Lauren. We used to full-time, recently just bought a small ranch back in Texas, or a home base, and we now part-time, or our weekend warriors officially, in this Alliance Delta 252 RL that we're in love with. So what are our 3 big things? Well, there's actually 4. One of them's to my truck, and I'm going to do it off camera because I don't know what I'm doing as much, and I don't really love saying the things that I don't 100% know what I'm doing with you guys until I know them. So we're going to do 3 things on this. We're going to actually change a few things around inside the rig, and we're going to add one of the bigger safety features that I like on the outside of the rig. So we're going to start outside, work our way inside, because there's still a chance of rain today like there was a couple days ago when I filmed the last video. So let's dive into our first one. Okay, our first big safety upgrade that we're going to do to this rig involves a little bit of a backstory. So backwards to our very first RV trip of any length, in our Grand Design Solitude 390 RK that we started this channel with, we went to one of Lauren's horse shows in Gulfport, Mississippi. Let's just say we were put in an awkward position to camp in. So we not only had to be fully extended in the front, but we had to use 12, I said that right, 12 of those little Camco camping blocks, adult Legos, you know, those little yellow things that are down there. If you can see them. You know, those little yellow things that are down there under those feet. And it poured our second night there. If you sneezed in bed, you felt like the rig might fall over. So after it rained, it started to sink a little bit, and I did actually feel the rig slip a little forward. So it was a bad situation. We did eventually move, but I attribute not slipping off of those blocks to a product that I will put on every single RV I ever own from here on out as quick as I possibly can, and that is SnapPads. These things are magical. So yes, they do a great job with your landing jacks as far as like spreading out your foot. So like if you're on concrete and you're a really, really heavy rig, like our old toy hauler, or Todd from Big Beard Battery's new RV, we're going to call it an RV. It's a little closer to like, you know, actual house rolling down the road. But, you know, if you're in one of those types of rigs that's super heavy, you can actually crack concrete on some of those thinner RV sites with all the pressure that those landing jacks put. Now on the travel trailer, we have a little bit of a unique setup. So we're going to go through it a little bit and kind of talk to you when we reached out to RV SnapPads, what they had to say, and kind of how we're going to have to do it on this rig, because it's a little different than in past RVs. Typically, you have what's called landing jacks. So you can see one there. That is kind of a landing jack. It's actually a stabilizer. And then on a travel trailer, the front tongue also counts as one. So what you would normally do is you would take that foot right there, okay? And then you'd put something on it that looked like this. So this is a SnapPad. It's a rubberized, essentially foot addition. Once it's installed, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. So you would pop that on there. It would live there. And then when you put your jacks down, you wouldn't really need, like how I've got camping blocks and all that stuff, unless you just physically needed to get taller for some reason. Now, this rig is a little bit different because we have 2 size feet. So we have the BAL LS 5.3. So it's 3-point leveling with 5 down feet. So essentially between the tongue, which is up front obviously, and then there's a right and a left electric leveling jack here, and then those are stabilizer bars. So it levels with only those 3, and then those stabilizer bars come down to just give it a little bit more foot pressure along the bottom of the coach. Now we also use the BAL X chocks, which go between the tires, push the axles a little bit further apart, and don't allow anything to flex quite as bad. So between all that, that's what we level with. Now with that being said, unfortunately, they don't make, SnapPads doesn't make a foot for that yet. So what is that solution? So that foot I've been showing you is what's going to go on these stabilizer jacks. So we have 2 of those. Because they don't make, unfortunately, a foot to fit our tongue jack and the rear stabilizers and the rear leveling jacks, we're going to use a new product that they have, which is kind of unique, and it's called a stacked pad. So it's made out of the same material as a SnapPad, But what it does is it allows you to put your foot down on top of it. It's reasonably thick. It's about 4.5, 5 inches thick. You can see that white portion in the middle. And you put it down, and then you put your pad on top of that. It's the same rubber material that's on the exterior. So it's a hard plastic on the middle, that white part. And then everything else is a black piece. That black piece is the same material that they put on the other one. So it should minimize quite a bit the slipping from the foot. Now, is it as good as the actual feet? We'll see. I mean, I don't know how it can be because those wrap around and you don't have to take them on and off. These you have to remove like the Camco jack. So that's the only downside to me, but I would recommend this is the second best option if you don't actually get feet that fit your rig. So because I'm already got my levelers down and everything, I'm not actually going to pick up all those and put these down. But just know, actually, we're leaving in a couple of days. So the next video you guys see, we'll be on the road. And so we'll be at a campground that first night. Spoiler, I'm not telling you where yet. You have to tune in to find out. And I'll put one of these down and kind of give you my opinion during that video. So stay tuned to next week if you're curious about these. Now, as far as installing the other pieces, they did send me 3 of those. I was only holding one. They're pretty heavy, just so you know. So they're of high quality, but we're going to get these installed on the stabilizers. But I have to put some stairs away before I can do that and go get some Dawn. And I'll show you what we do with these. And then I'll show you what we do with these guys. All right, so spoiler from last week's video. I'm excited about that, but my table's still out, so I still have everything everywhere. You will want to grab some Dawn for this install, but we need to get those feet off the ground, so that is what we're going to do next. All right, so I've removed the Camco block, and I've got this. I'm just going to kind of put this up here, make sure it's close to the right fit, which it is. I've never really removed these, but I guess you should or can. I don't really worry about the staple either. But in a nutshell, this is what you're going to need to do. Okay, so this process is exactly the same, whether you are doing this on a fifth wheel travel trailer. This doesn't matter. So you want to take the Dawn, and essentially you're just going to put a little bit, that was a lot of it, across that portion that kind of kicks down right there. Because what that's going to help do is to get that foot to actually slide in. So I'm going to go bring this down just a little bit and kind of get this lined up. So typically this is where a partner would help out because then they could come over and kind of put their hands down here and kind of get everything situated for you. I'm by myself. Lauren is at work right now. So we're taking some educated guesses here. The downside about this is it's going to want to come inside a little bit. So you just want to get it lined up close, and we'll see if we can get it on this first try, at least on this side. Yep, and perfect. Looks like we got it. So you can see around the edges there how it snapped around there. So that's that noise you want to hear and or hear it make, is that little snapping motion. It might not have gotten on the back. It kind of looks like it did. So now I'm going to push that down a little bit more, bring it up, make sure it's attached nicely. So as you can see there, that came up freely on its own now. I'm going to give that a couple of knocks that way, just to make sure we're good. It didn't actually come on the back, so I'm going to push that side down a little bit first and push it back down and see if we can't get that side to snap in. This is where having a second person would have been super handy. Yep, there we go. Now it's all the way down and across. You can kind of see that in the back. Okay, so that essentially is how you install SnapPads. Again, we absolutely love them. I would use them no matter what. Full disclosure, they did send us these for free, but this is not a paid sponsorship. If that went on wrong, badly, any of those types of things, I would definitely have told you. But it's one of those things, we wouldn't put a product on here if we didn't believe in it in the first place. And if you've been around the channel for any length of time, I very much so think SnapPads are essentially a necessary thing. So I'm going to get the other one installed to get that done, and we're going to move on to upgrade numero dos. This one's harder. All right, instead of the really difficult one, we're going to do the moderately difficult one, and this is upgrade numero dos. So in the last video, we added the little kind of knockoff Lippert shades in our doors to keep light from coming in. The seeing in portion is great, but we are light sleepers, and we don't do, especially me, if there's any light whatsoever in the room, I'm awake. So in an RV, obviously sometimes when you have doors, you have those little spots, and some windows let light in. So we've always been super conscious of what light's coming in the room. So this is our first RV that really has let a lot of light in close to the bedroom because we're only 29 feet, 30 feet, whatever. Pretty small. The bathroom, so we have a skylight and then the air vent. So both of those let in light. I'm eventually going to replace the air vent, so I don't want to put a cover on it yet because I want to make sure I get the right one for the new size. So for now, what we did is we just bought one of those little Camco things. It literally, Amazon just dropped it off. So I'm going to go grab it, put it in there. The other thing we have is the skylight. So obviously skylights can let in a lot of sun, heat. We typically come up with something to put in there. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, why don't you just take the shower, the insert down, and then put something across the top like Reflectix? And I was like, well, that's actually makes sense. So I want to make sure I thought I could do it first. So I removed the inside of the shower of the skylight, and I'll show you what I did on the rest of it right now. So essentially, looking up at our shower, what's going to happen is, you can see the roofing material, you can see the wood, and that insert goes right here. Well, there's a little bit of gap up here between it and the top of that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Reflectix essentially through this area and see if I can't limit how much sun, heat, all of those things come in through here. That's nice. See how much of that stuff comes in through here, and essentially put that back and see if I can't create my own kind of shower insert, kind of a thing to keep the sun and heat and cold out. A little bit of a side note when it comes to that too is I actually could use the headroom in this one. Our previous ones, like in our Valor and our Solitude, I didn't need that. That was a non-problem. So with this one, I could actually use the headroom because as I'm washing my hair, my head goes all the way up to the roof line here whenever it is when I'm in the shower, because there's a step up in this one. But if I want to wash my hair and stuff like that, I just need a little bit of room for my hands to move. So that's why we're going to do this. So I've already got this down. Screws are still in my pocket. Drill is over there. The Reflectix is still in the garage. So I'm going to go grab that real fast. Okay, there's not a lot of room to film in this RV, so I'm sorry. And I also know there's a bunch of light above me, so you're a little bit more blown out. This is a massive piece of Reflectix. You don't need to buy one this big. We had this left over from the Valor when we did all the windows in it. But for this portion, you'll need this and a Sharpie of some kind. I had a green one, so that's what we're using. You could hypothetically put this up there and then take like an X-Acto knife and cut it around the wood, but then you stand around the risk of cutting the plastic above you. So I do not recommend it. For this, it's just a big piece, so we're going to kind of work with it and see what we can do. Yeah, it's less than ideal, I will say that. So this isn't going to look pretty, and I don't recommend doing it this way, but it's how I'm going to do it. So what I did in my own unique way is I marked essentially where I need to cut, and now I'm going to take this outside and cut it down to size. I know I'm off camera, but I cannot stress this enough. I do not ever recommend cutting with an X-Acto knife inside the RV. Literally every surface in there, oh boy, is something that can be cut very easily by one of these knives. So I'm just going to run along this line. Yep, I passed it. Perfect. Well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so now I have my piece here. I'm going to put it up there. Hopefully it's reasonably close. And it's a little bit... It's a touch small, but I think once I put this up there, it'll be okay. So I am actually going to go ahead and put the insert back up. Yeah, there's a little bit of light coming in, but to be quite frank, it's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. So I'll go ahead and start putting the screws back into this thing. So when you're doing this, especially with like screws, put the supporting ones in first so it's not just hanging by a thread. So you can see I'm doing all the corners. I kind of did the ends first and the sides. This is already a lot better. All right, so that essentially, I mean, it's not ideal. I will say that if I wanted to make that darker, I could. I just should have cut the piece a little bit bigger, and I had room to do it. So if you want to, you can. But for me, for the purposes of this, that'll help out quite a bit, actually. All right, so the other thing is that other insert, which ironically, I mentioned this. Amazon came as I was doing it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and put it up there. Spoiler, this was supposed... I dropped it. This was supposed to be in last week's video, but it didn't get here in time, so this is pretty simple. It just squeezes in there, and that is literally it. All right, so the bathroom is a lot darker now. So the bathroom's a lot darker now, and two things that both of those will do is, one, it'll also help with heat. Heat comes in through those touch spots crazy amount, so the Reflectix will definitely help out, and then obviously the insulated thing that also has Reflectix on the side from Camco will also help out. So, all right, I'm gonna go get a drink of water, take a mini break here because it's hot. You can't tell I'm sweating through the hat. Can't. It's Alliance hat. It's holding strong. Hi, welcome to Ryan's big travel trailers are small edition. This is as best as I'm gonna get. So, do you know what this is? This is a gas-assisted strut, specifically a 150-pound gas-assisted strut. So, one of the things that we consider a day one upgrade is the mattress. And we love our mattresses by Brooklyn Bedding from rvmattress.com. Check them out, save 30%. Memorial Day sale's probably over, which means they're back to 25% on the website, but you can still get 30% through our link down below. So, but it's a little heavier than the stock mattress that comes with it, so these struts don't hold up the bed. I'm not even looking to hold it up, but I want to make it easier for us to use underneath there, because like we found a good spot for our laundry hamper was underneath here, and so we want to be able to use that. But I need this to be easier for Lauren, and to be honest, like I can get it up, but it's hard to do anything underneath there because the mattress wants to push back down on this so heavy. So I am by myself. I don't know how this is going to go. Yeah, we'll just see. Let's go. So I couldn't do that before, and that's only with one strut. I don't know what was on there before, but I went back with a 150-pound strut. I just want to make sure I can actually... close it. Apparently I can't. Sometimes this camera and this microphone don't like each other, and that's been the case all day today. Other times you burn yourself. That didn't feel good. And then other times you put screws through your hand in other adventures. So the struts aren't going to work out, and I've made it to where the other struts don't work now. So I have to come up with a new plan so that I can mount the old struts, because those were too strong and they ripped the bracketing off of the platform. Because, and this is no fault of Alliance's, but it's just cheap and small wood, so it didn't grip enough and it didn't hold on. So yeah, I'm gonna have to retrofit some stuff, but I'm not doing it today because my back hurts, my hand hurts. I'm a little bit frustrated with the camera today. So we got 2 big projects done, not 3. And here's the reality of RV life, is that sometimes things don't go according to plan. I am going to pack up, clean up, get some water, take a shower, and drink some beer. Because that's how it's going. So yeah, that's going to do it for us. Check out SnapPads. We love them. We think that everybody should have them personally. There's a link down below. They have a really easy select your RV tool, as long as you don't have anything custom or fancy. Worst case scenario, measure. And then we also did the Reflectix and the skylight, which is it's a big upgrade for me, and that was handy. And one day we'll do struts. Not these struts, but we'll do struts. These were also pretty cheap, so I'm wondering if this was some of it. So anyway, Have a great week. We'll see you next week, and we're going to be on the road, and I'm either going to have struts or I'm not. See ya. Bye, Mom. I'm going to get a beer. I'm not going to wipe out. Bye. Beer time.